Hi, and welcome to Bonita's Kitchen, and thank you for joining us. What I'm going to be making today is a delicious batch of rhubarb custard squares. I'm excited to share this recipe with you today because it's one that I found on Facebook when I was browsing, and it's belonged to Leicester Farms Market out of St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. And this is a recipe, I guess they said they found, they done a few little tweaks to it to make it family friendly, and they love it. So permission is given. I'm going to show you this delicious recipe. I can't wait to get started. So let's get started. So first off, we're going to make the base, which is a shortbread crust, and it's 2 cups of sifted all-purpose flour. And then if you don't have the white all-purpose flour, you could use a flour of choice. We got some about 1/3 cup of white sugar. I'm just going to mix this together. Now this recipe is so tasty. It's difficult to only have one, of course, and we have got so many recipes up there now with rhubarb. I couldn't wait to make this one to show you because we can't get enough of rhubarb recipes. I got here 1 cup, sorry about that, of butter, but you could use margarine because butter now is at like $7.99, $8.99 a block. So if you wanted to substitute it, that is fine. And we're just going to mix this together until it's crumbled. So after you've got all this mixed in together, just till it's crumbled, and I'll take it off my press this in a moment, you'll need a 9 by 13 inch pan with a sheet of parchment paper. So if you don't have the parchment paper, you can spray the pan. I like using the parchment paper because when we're finished with this, making these squares, you can just lift it out of the 9 by 13 inch pan, put it on your countertop and cut it into the size of squares or larger than what you like. So now what we're going to do is toss this shortbread crust into the pan. I'm going to just toss all this mixture out into the pan, and I got the sheet of parchment paper there. So we're going to just spread this out and press it down in the pan. So pretty much after we press this down, we're going to put this in a 350-degree Fahrenheit oven for about 10 minutes just to get part cooked there before we add the topping, which is the filling, and we'll get working on it next. So I'm just going to put this in the oven and we'll get working on the filling. Now we get working on the filling. So I got 1/2 cup of all-purpose white flour. Again, you use flour of your choice. 3/4 cup of white granulated sugar, and you could use as well a sugar of choice. We're going to mix that through. And so what I got here is 1 cup of, you could use half and half cream, you could use a whipping cream, you could use a carnation old milk or a old milk fresh milk. So but pretty much you decide what you got available, and
you're
that's
more or less saying you got a lot of options there.
You got about 4 options there for a thick cream. So that's what I'm using there now, a thick cream, and we're going to mix that through. We're going to be using 3 eggs, and I'm going to crack one at a time, put it into, of course, the same bowl that I had my cream in, so I'm not just dirting more dishes. Whisk it around and just add it into the mixture. So 1 at a time, just to check your eggs. That's all you need to do there. So the filling part we're making here now, it's more like the custard part of these rhubarb custard squares. So you're going to mix all this in through, well, just evenly till it's all in there. 1 teaspoonful of vanilla extract, And just mix that in. So what I'm going to be using here is 5 cups of rhubarb. I got half and half. I had 3 cups of frozen and 2 cups of fresh that I had left in my garden. So make sure it's fully thawed and chopped in small pieces. Then toss it into the mixture. Try to get as much water out of it as possible. So we're just going to fold this into that delicious custard mixture. And my crust is done, the shortbread crust. I'm going to pull this in here. It's only 10 minutes baking it just to get it sealed a little bit. And then we're going to pour this mixture into it. So I'm just going to pour this over the hot crust. So I just took it out of the oven and then just pour this into it. And now I'm going to tell you how long to bake it for. So what I'm going to do, the 350 Fahrenheit oven that we had for our shortbread crust is going to be the same temperature for baking the custard filling. And you're going to put it in there for 40 to 50 minutes. You can see that it's done. And then while we're waiting on that, we're going to be making the topping for this delicious rhubarb squares, and that's made with cream cheese, whipped cream, and a couple of more ingredients. So I'm going to show you that. Get this in the oven. So now while we're waiting for our rhubarb custard squares to bake, we're going to be putting in 1.5 cups of powdered sugar, confectionery sugar, into the bowl, and 1 package, I think it's about 6 ounces of soft cream cheese, and a teaspoonful of vanilla. So you're just going to mix this together. I'm just going to just work it together a little bit with my spatula before I get the mixer going on it. Just so I don't.
So I'm not going to be covered in that.
So you're not going to be covered. I was just thinking about you, Raymond. I was saying to myself, how am I going to be able to mix this now without just making you wait?
I'll just step back a few feet.
Yeah, exactly. So we're just going to blend this together, and then I'll tell you what other ingredient to add in there.
I'm moving.
I don't think that's too bad, Raymond. I don't think you're too white over there with
no, not too bad.
with the mixer. Oh my goody, I'm just the funniest with that machine. Eh?
Nothing but a face cloth is going to
Clean you up?
Clean up.
Oh my. So now what I'm going to do is reach for some whipped topping. That's just a whipped cream, and use about 1 cup in this mixture. So I'm just going to take about 1 cup of this whipped cream. So this is just the box bought whipped cream, and I just mixed it up while it was cold, and that's all there. And then you can just keep the rest for something else, but just fold this then in with the cream cheese, the confectionery sugar, vanilla, and just until it's all blended. So after your rhubarb custard squares are baked, let it come to a total room temperature before you start spreading over this delicious whipped cream. So now I'm going to show you what it looks like, and let's put this together and get a square. As you can see, just look how delicious this looks, and it's not even cut, it's at room temperature. And now we're going to scoop up. Actually, before I scoops up, I'm going to pass Raymond a little taste of this delicious whipped cream and the cream cheese mixture. Of course, you could never get enough of that. Usually I pass as Raymond the bowl, but I'm not going to leave any in the bowl today. He's just going to have to wait until he gets a taste of this delicious, I'm going to say, our rhubarb custard squares when we cut them.
Oh yeah.
And that's all you need to do there, is just spread it out and just look how nice that is. So let's just cut into it. So loosen around the sides if before you attempt this, and then take the full, I guess right now it's just a cake, isn't it? Out of there, and move the pan away, and then what we're going to do is cut it in squares. So now you can get all perfect with these, or you can just cut them whatever way you want it. But after all, they're called rhubarb custard squares, so you want to have it as square as possible. In this house, we don't have anything like what would be normal, okay? Because we just want to get into it.
The way like I look at it myself is, if it's only small, you might end up having 2 or 3. If it's a little bit bigger, well, okay, you'll only have 1 or 2.
1 or 2, yeah. I got to try to twist this so as you can see this side. You know, see it there? I'll put it on one here and see if it'll be a little different. And here it is. Look how delicious they are. I can't wait for you to make them, and I can't wait to have a taste.
Neither can I.
No, right? I got to try one of these. I'll bring you in a little closer in a moment to see them again. But, I mean, just look at them. Of course, you can just eat them like this and be all messy. But I'm going to use a spoon here now to take off this one. Oh my goodness. Of course, right off, the taste of that cream cheese icing. But the texture of the custard, the rhubarb custard, and having that tasty shortbread crust on the bottom. Delicious. 2 thumbs up. Thank you for sharing your recipe with us. And now I can't wait for you to make it. I can't wait for you to make these. They're absolutely delicious. I'm going to pass you this now in a second, Raymond, and you can have a little taste over there.
I'm just waiting.
I know. I'm gonna boil the kettle too. We'll get some tea with this. Also, I'm gonna leave the recipe here for you in under this video. If you can't find it there, look for it on our website, www.bonitaskitchen.com, and I'm also going to share it on our Facebook page. And if you want, you can send us a message on our email, which is bonitakitchen@gmail.com, and we can give you the recipe there as well if you can't find it. And as well, I'd like to make a big shout out, thank you to Leicester Farms Market for sharing their recipe with us today, and we can't thank you enough. And we're going to share these delicious rhubarb custard squares with our neighbors, and we can't eat all of these, eh, Raymond? We're just not even going to try it.
And don't forget www.
Well, I did already share our website with them, and again, I'll share it again, www.bonitaskitchen.com. You can check out the recipe there. We're not going to take any more of your time. We know it's precious, and I know you probably want to get there making these delicious rhubarb custard squares. On behalf of myself, Raymond, and our team here at Bonita's Kitchen, you have a wonderful day from our kitchen to yours. If you're here in Newfoundland and Labrador, don't forget to visit beautiful Bay Roberts and join us again on Bonita's Kitchen.
Join us by the sea, our journey in culinary, always an open door. Bonita's Kitchen to yours. Bonita's Kitchen.